Welcome to the Morgan DeVries podcast. This is a space where we explore our energetic nature, living in alignment, and what it really means to create a life that feels like fucking magic, because that's always been the mission. Through conversations and my own reflections, my intention is simple: to help you reconnect with your truth and the light that already exists within you. Let's get into it. I think I found another hack in life, and I want to share. So the other day, I went to my first hatha yoga class, and I don't know too much about yoga, and this was literally one class. So if I'm wrong about the logistics of this, sorry. But what this teacher told us about this class was that essentially it's about holding poses, and it's meant to be uncomfortable. But when you hold it and you release the need for it to be comfortable, there's this switch that happens. And all of a sudden, it's like your resistance turns off and there's just this switch and you're okay. And you're actually feeling the like euphoric aspect of it. And this was so profound for me because while this is something you practice in yoga, I could not stop thinking about the concept of if I actually allow myself to sit in this moment of uncomfortability and I don't raise the resistance within that, let me test out if there will be that switch, that like click moment where all of a sudden you adapt, you expand, like there's this expansion moment and things clear up again. Things feel easy and the circumstance doesn't change. The circumstance doesn't change. It's your ability to be there. It's your own expansion and your adaptability, and your experience becomes something completely different, not the situation. And it's come up for me so much these last few weeks. I'm currently in Portugal traveling with my friends, and I think any change, any big move, I basically packed up my whole life before this. Don't really have the next steps, which I love. I love that. I love not having a plan, but there is still that sense of uncomfortability with that, of course. And so I've been having moments while I've been here where I do feel uncomfortable, but having this mindset, this new perspective, I've been testing. I'm like, okay, a thought has triggered this sense of uncomfortability, thinking about whatever it is that feels like a stretch to me. And if I bring this knowledge into that moment and say, okay, I know there's a sense of uncomfortability, but I know that if I allow this, then let me see if there will be that switch. And every time it happens, and I'm like, oh my God, I can handle it. I can actually handle anything. We are adaptable beings. It's in our nature to be able to expand. And we just have this habit of making the expansion process a suffering process. You have all heard that quote, I'm sure, that something about, you can have pain, or we'll always have pain, but you don't have to have suffering. I think that's like Buddha or something. I could be so wrong with that. But it's so true. And we really get to see how much our minds are creating the experience that we're having, because the situation did not change. I did. And then by default, things do end up going smoother, but that's really not the point. And I don't even want to touch on that because that's really not the point. Not right now. But we are so capable. And this can be applied in so many different scenarios. This can be applied in if you're sitting in fear of something, to let those thoughts, those fearful thoughts, be there and let it be a body experience rather than a mind experience. Notice the feeling of the fear and know that feelings are created to pass through, and that it's our mind that then grabs on to this feeling, this pain, this fear, and perpetuates it. So knowing that this is meant to pass if I don't get in the way, can I let it pass? Can I let there be that switch moment where all of a sudden you are expanded, you are capable, you've adapted. And what happens is when you're not getting in the way, you're able to access grander perspectives as well. This sense of adaptation and expansion is you unblocking yourself from the infinite intelligence that is always available and around us, and you softening and allowing these things to pass through. You open up that channel and you access greater, grander perspectives. And you see information that you couldn't see when you were blocked. You actually broaden your view and see different potentials and understandings, and your whole experience changes. And then this can be applied in smaller situations, which is how I've been testing this. For example, if I'm walking down the street and I feel a sense of insecurity, I feel like, oh God, do I look pretty? Does my hair look weird? Do I need to adjust my hair? Do they think I'm staring at them? Whatever's like going through my mind. And you notice this and you say, okay, there's a sense of uncomfortability in my body right now. And that's okay. Like, just let it be there and test out. If I sit with this for just a second, and it can literally be just a second, you get quicker. It's a practice. It's a muscle that you build. You sit there and you let it be there. There's a switch. There's literally a switch. There's a moment of like, oh yeah, that doesn't really matter. That was my monkey mind. That was my human brain feeding me those thoughts. And I just dropped into the moment, declogged my channels, and now I'm able to access a broader perspective. And from this broader perspective, I can see that that was just silly, that that was not my true nature, that that was old habitual patterns. And then there's that switch and you feel expanded. You feel like you can take up more space. You feel more comfortable in your body. It's the same idea of what's happening for when you meditate, that you know going into meditation, you are going to have about 2 to 5 minutes of this is not comfortable. This does not feel good. I don't want this. I'd rather scroll on my phone, get the dopamine. But when you let yourself, when you know there is going to be that 2 to 5 minutes, and I let myself be there, there's a switch. There's a switch that happens and you drop into the meditation. You become the meditation and you're not fighting it, and you open up. You drop your senses and it's a whole new experience. And this leads me to another example where I've been testing this out is the desire to go on my phone. The desire that you have when you have that, like, you need the dopamine. Notice that that is a moment that will pass. That is a sense of uncomfortability that I can sit with, and I know that it will pass and I won't actually need to go on my phone. I know this. And then there's a switch and you're fine. You don't need your phone. I've been practicing this with going outside to eat and not be on my phone when I eat, because I am such an iPad kid. Like, I love watching shows when I eat, but I really don't want to need that, because I notice when I don't do it, I'm like dying for it. I'm like, I really want to watch a show, and it's like, what is that? It has nothing to do with the show. It has nothing to do with the information. It's just wanting to be hit with a bunch of dopamine. And I refuse to live that life. So test out eating without your phone and knowing that, okay, there's going to be probably 2 minutes. Honestly, it could be like 15 seconds of, I'm just not going to go on my phone. You start eating and you're fine. And all of a sudden you're enjoying your meal more. You're lingering. You're looking outside. You notice how beautiful it is. And it's a whole new experience. Hi, babes. Pardon my interruption, but I come with fantabulous news. I have recently been having some huge epiphanies about just how much I care about curating connection and helping people transform their lives. And I have decided to reopen up my one-on-one coaching. I'm not sure how many people I'll be taking at a time, but you can always apply to get on the wait list. This is for those of you who have been listening to me for probably a while and are feeling like you are ready to truly integrate this knowledge into your lifestyle. This is an offering of deeper knowledge and deeper practice. If you feel like a level of transformation happens when you listen to this podcast, I want you to just take a second to envision, what would it be like to work with me side by side, to be partners in your transformation, to have reflected back to you what needs shifting and what needs attention, for you to finally rest in the power of this universe, to finally access the frequency of joy and ease that you've been searching for in hundreds of books and podcasts. Something really special happens when you have a one-on-one coach, and I know this firsthand, and I am so excited to put this offer out in a way that feels really, really aligned for me. So if you feel like you're curious but want to learn a little bit more, or maybe even just get a taste of what it's like to work with me, I'm offering a free 20-minute Pick My Brain session. This session can be whatever you want it to be. You can ask me questions about the program, certain manifestation topics, or honestly, whatever you want. This space is open for anyone, even if you are not looking for one-on-one coaching. Generous, I know. Well, all right, my loves, this is all for now, and you can find both links in the show notes. Okay, back to the show. Same with going to the bathroom. Test out going to the bathroom without your phone. And just know that, honestly, that uncomfortable moment will probably be literally walking through the door, and then you'll sit down and you'll be fine. You'll notice some cracks in the wall and you'll just zone out a little bit. Our minds are really satiating if we let that space be there for it to satiate us. We have mind movies playing all the time. Fun thoughts come through. Ideas come through. Our minds are so satiating, but we're just not giving it the space to satiate us. But there's only that small little section, that small little moment of uncomfortability before that switch happens and your mind becomes satiating. So yeah, I'm going to keep practicing this. Maybe I'll have more to share on this next time. So just give it a chance and test it out, just practice it and see what findings you find. See where it's harder for you, where it comes easier, and trust in your adaptability. Trust in your nature to expand. We can hold a lot more than we realize. and even living in a world that feels so full of fear, we are bigger than that. We have the intelligence and the functions that allow us to adapt and expand and experience a good life nonetheless. Okay. I love you guys. Bye.